In Northumberland, on the border with Scotland, lies England's largest forest, Kielder. A wild and remote landscape, home to dense woodland, ancient bogs, and breathtaking waterfalls. And yet, 100 years ago, it didn't even exist. Created to provide the country with timber, it has evolved to become a refuge for some of Britain's greatest and most secretive wildlife. Alongside the people who live and work here, much-loved plants and animals battle to survive and flourish. Filmed over one dramatic year, capturing the beauty of 4 spectacular seasons. This is the story of life inside the forest. In England's largest forest, there's about to be a surge of activity. The days are lengthening, the sun is getting stronger. It's a time for new life and transformations. This is a season of opportunity. This is spring. With hundreds of millions of trees spread over 140,000 acres, it's hard to believe this forest hasn't been here for centuries. Parts of it feel like an ancient land.
When you come to Kielder, I always personally describe it as close as getting to Canada in the UK, because it has that feel about it. It has the huge terrain, but it is fascinating all that came from planting trees from timber production.
The people who work here are part of an idea first conceived 100 years ago.
The vision was to plant a timber crop that the UK could use, because there was a real concern we were running out of trees. We had depleted our timber stock and the UK was in trouble.
In the aftermath of World War I, Britain faced a desperate timber shortage. Woodland covered just 5% of the country, and it was reliant on imports. The Forestry Commission was established, and the moorland around Kielder Castle was identified as suitable for forestry.
It was a real challenge to establish Kielder Forest. The ground conditions were very peaty, as they are today. It was very much open hillside. It was very much an area that the sheep had eaten anything they could eat. Sitka spruce was brought into the UK as a conifer tree which would fast grow and give production. The first trees were planted in 1926.
Much of the planting was done by shipyard workers and miners who were housed in specially constructed camps. It wasn't until 1948 that the first mature trees were felled. Kielder now produces 500,000 tons of timber a year, used for building, furniture and paper. But it's become so much more.
The landscape's hugely diverse compared to what it would be like if it was not planted in 1926. The species list and the naturalness is completely off scale to what this area would have been like without that intervention.
As well as providing timber, Kielder has become a sanctuary for some of Britain's most cherished flora and fauna. It's during spring that much of it comes alive. In 3 months' time, there will be a range of wild flowers and orchids in bloom. For now, the buds are just emerging. To try and reveal further some of the hidden life of the forest, secret cameras have been placed across Kielder. There's an array of activity they can capture when no one is around. In the trees, there's the sound of one of Kielder's best-loved characters, the red squirrel. It's an animal truly at home in the forest. As one of Earth's most agile creatures, they can make huge leaps, the equivalent of a human jumping over a double-decker bus from a standing start. With an incredible sense of spatial awareness, double-jointed ankles that can turn 180 degrees, and small, sharp, curved claws, red squirrels can move up and down trees fast. One of Britain's most iconic native creatures, the red squirrel was once widespread across the country. But since the Victorians introduced the grey squirrel from North America, numbers have plummeted. In many areas, the reds have been wiped out by a virus carried by the greys. It's thought Kielder could now be home to around 50% of England's remaining red squirrel population. Here, the habitat is ideal for them, with abundant food and plenty of potential nest sites. It's hoped Kielder can remain a stronghold for this elusive creature. The red squirrel certainly needs all the help it can get. Unlike the red squirrel, not all of the forest's iconic species live here all year round. Every March, Kielder waits anxiously for the return of one of its most precious birds, the osprey. These formidable raptors fly thousands of miles from their wintering grounds in West Africa. It's a dangerous journey, and their return is by no means certain. Extinct in Britain just 100 years ago, seeing the ospreys establish themselves at one of the 7 nesting platforms in the forest is a welcome relief. Every year, Joanna Daly monitors their progress.
Although Kielder Forest has got millions, literally, of trees, most of them aren't suitable for ospreys because ospreys like somewhere with a great view. It needs to stand above other trees. So it's much safer for the ospreys if they are given a platform in a good location that's very sturdy. There's less risk of the nest blowing out with young chicks that might die.
These nesting platforms were part of an attempt to return ospreys to Northumberland after an absence of 200 years. The efforts finally paid off in 2009, and they've been breeding here ever since. This year, one nest with a male known as blue UV is capturing Joanna's attention.
The male osprey on this site, he hatched in 2014 at our nest 1, the original nest in Kielder Forest. And he had a satellite tracker fitted, and we know that he winters in northern Senegal. And he came back as a 2-year-old. 2 would be really young for a male to breed, so we didn't expect him to. He came back the next year. Once I did see a bird, a Scottish ringed female, and she's from a nest in the Trossachs, and she's 3 years old. Last year would have been a bonding year with UV. They definitely didn't have any eggs. This year we would hope that they will in fact lay eggs. The first Kielder offspring, and there's over 60 of them, that is actually breeding, going to try to breed at least, in the forest. So it's a milestone for us in a mega way.
Whether blue UV and his mate are successful is still to be seen. Many dangers lie ahead. It's still early spring in Kielder Forest, and the sun shines across its 60,000 hectares. But beneath the canopy, in the darker, more mysterious depths of the forest, there are unexpected treats. In a quiet, enchanting dell, the silence is broken by the sound of falling water. This is Hindhope Linn, a waterfall that seems to appear magically out of the forest. In this shadier, damp habitat, it's mosses, ferns and liverworts that thrive. In a place like this, it's easy to understand why forests have become synonymous with folklore and fairy tales. To reveal some of the hidden mysteries of the forest, secret cameras have been placed across Kielder. And they've made a rare sighting of an animal once extinct in England. This is a pine marten, elusive and secretive. They're a cat-sized member of the weasel family. The first sighting of a pine marten in the forest's history was only made in 2018. This footage is more evidence they are taking up permanent residence here. It's even hoped pine martens can help the local red squirrel population. Studies show that with grey squirrels being easier prey for pine martens, their presence can stop the spread of the red's arch-enemy. Just as quietly as they appear on our cameras, they slip away. Elsewhere, March is the time for a different creature to emerge from quieter, secluded parts of the forest. The common toad has spent the winter hibernating, hidden away. Now there's a mass migration back to the pond for mating season. The males gather. At times, they can appear like bathers enjoying a leisurely dip. They're all in search of one thing. And when a female arrives, there's a change in atmosphere. The female might be twice the size of the males, but she's soon ambushed. For the males, it's a no-rules fight for the best position. Only those in the right spot when she lays her thousands of eggs get to fertilize them. For the toad in pole position, they cling on for dear life. You never know when a rival might try to steal your place. These toady scrums can sometimes go on for days. Eventually, the long chains of toad spawn are laid. From these thousands of eggs, only a fraction will survive. Those that do will one day also return to this same pond to take part in their own springtime mating. By April, at the osprey nests, precious eggs have also been laid. They must be kept warm and protected from the elements. For blue UV and his mate, there's also the problem of intruders. At this time, curious intruder ospreys will often linger around other nests. It's alarming for the parents trying to protect their eggs. They could easily become damaged in all the excitement. This osprey has been warned off, but there's a bigger threat lurking. To crows and ravens, the eggs are a tasty meal. And they're bold enough to attack when the parents are there. They don't give up easily. This time, blue UV fights them off. Across the forest, another nest isn't so lucky. It just takes leaving the eggs unprotected for a moment, and they're stolen by a cunning pair of ravens. Right now, there isn't an easy swarm it can binge on. It must use all its expertise to pick them off. Its timing must be impeccable. Bravo! When it comes to eating, there's one creature in the forest more voracious than most. This caterpillar hatched from an egg the size of a pinhead and emerged smaller than a grain of rice. But once it's born into this world, it has just one thing on its mind: eating. Caterpillars are little more than stomachs on legs. The more it eats, the more it grows. In just a few weeks, some will consume 27,000 times their body weight. What allows them to grow so quickly is their ability to molt multiple times, meaning a caterpillar will change its skin again and again, often changing its color. The skin is covered in hair-like bristles called setae, giving them their sense of touch. Its job is to store up enough energy to undergo one of the greatest rites of passage in all of nature. The caterpillar creates a silk pad, attaches itself to a stem and hangs, head down. Underneath its final caterpillar skin, it is once more creating a new body, one stunningly different to the one it's lived in so far. When it finally wriggles free, it is no longer a caterpillar at all. It has become a chrysalis, a butterfly pupa. It is now in the midst of a transformation so radical, science is still trying to decipher how it happens. Its outer skin dries and hardens. For most of the next 2 weeks, the dull casing of skin looks dormant. But inside, special cells carry out instructions that will complete a miraculous metamorphosis. At the osprey nests, the parents continue to protect their eggs. While the female does most of the incubating, for the male, there's one job he's expected to do above all: hunt. The osprey is one of the only birds of prey to feed almost exclusively on fish, something Kielder Reservoir has plenty of. The osprey is an ambush hunter. It circles the lake looking through the surface for the ripples of a fish's fin. They must combine their incredible eyesight with impeccable timing. Once it spies its target, it begins to dive for the water. The osprey can go deep into the reservoir. The fish might fight, but his talons are equipped with adhesive scales and long curved claws for an unbreakable hold. The osprey then carries the fish with its head facing forwards in the direction it's flying, keeping it streamlined. He's fulfilled his duty. His partner can feed up as she continues to wait hopefully for her new chicks. Elsewhere, new life is already emerging. Amidst the pond skaters and newts, this shallow pool is full of tadpoles. From above the water, they look like simple jet black blobs. It's hard to imagine in a matter of weeks they'll become the next generation of frogs. These alien-like creatures are some of the greatest shapeshifters in nature. Already they have changed from the days when they first hatched. As newborn tadpoles, they had no eyes or mouth, but did have antler-like feathery external gills. They were also equipped with a cement gland on their heads, allowing them to spend their early existence simply attached, motionless, to a plant or their egg jelly, remaining hidden from predators. It's not long until the gills become internal and are covered in a flap of skin. They now have eyes and a mouth and seem to eat constantly. Inside, their incredible transformation is continuing. The cartilage of the tadpole will turn into the bone of the frog, while tadpoles' eyes, which are on the side of their heads, must move to the front to give frogs the binocular vision they need to catch flies. Of course, not all will make it. If all tadpoles survive to become adults, Kielder might just be facing a problem of biblical proportions. But hopefully, some will soon grow legs and emerge as tiny froglets. Their amazing shape-shifting complete. In spring, there's a beauty and mystery to smaller creatures we often don't appreciate. This might seem like an annoying swarm of insects, but look closer, and it is in fact something quite beautiful. The dance of the Mayfly. Flying up vertically, they beat their wings 20 to 30 times a second, then stop and parachute down. They'll repeat this move again and again, as if bouncing on an invisible trampoline. It's all in the hope of attracting a mate. As the Mayfly dance continues, there's another dancer waiting to pounce. The pied wagtail is back, but this time there's less call for leaps and pirouettes. Easy pickings are everywhere. With the sun getting warmer, one creature usually hidden away is now firmly out on display. The adder, Britain's only venomous snake. The most northerly member of the viper family, it's easily distinguished by its red eye and zigzag markings, camouflaging it against the bracken. The males emerged from their winter sleep weeks ago, but now in April they are joined by the females. They all must flatten their bodies to capture the maximum warmth from the sun's rays. For the males, despite not eating for months over winter, they must bask in the weak spring sunshine to raise their metabolism so they can develop sperm. Right now, they're sluggish and will need to sunbathe like this for several weeks before they can find a mate. The lengthening days of spring bring a surge of life to the forest. Everywhere there are new parents trying to guide their offspring. These young are at the most vulnerable point of their lives. Rabbit kittens try to stay hidden in the long grass. While this juvenile goldfinch is distinctly less colourful than an adult, as it hopes to avoid the attention of predators. Many animals are born with a drive to accept the first beings they see as their parents. The look and voice of the adults are then indelibly etched into their minds. It's known as imprinting. Precocial birds, those that can walk after hatching, are most associated with this phenomenon. At the reservoir, these mandarin ducklings are exploring with their mother. She is protector, teacher, and guide throughout the first months of life. Unlike other birds, no parent provides for these ducklings. They must start feeding the moment they enter the water. Fortunately, in spring, it's brimming with good things to eat. The larvae of aquatic insects and pondweed for a bit of greenery. But ducks are full of surprises. As the ducklings search amongst the rocks, Mum has found something much bigger to eat. In her beak, she's juggling with a small rodent. With no teeth, she won't be able to chew it up. But she's not giving up on it as a meal. It's not unheard of for mandarins to eat grasshoppers, frogs, and even small snakes. But a whole rodent is certainly a big and rare mouthful. As if she doesn't want her ducklings to copy, she finds a quiet spot before eating it in one. For her young, foraging close to the water's edge without their mother's protection, they are at risk of becoming the mouthful. Sniffing around nearby is a fox cub. But has Mum spotted the danger? She gets back just in time to lead her young to the safety of the open water. At the same time as looking for food, the ducklings must learn to be vigilant and avoid becoming another's meal. For all new creatures in the forest, it's a struggle to survive. It's now May in Kielder Forest. The change from the dark, cold days of winter to the warmth and light of summer is almost complete. Inside this chrysalis, another of nature's magical transformations is coming to an end. A once stubby, crawling, earthbound caterpillar is recycling and remodeling itself into something completely different. When the time is right, the skin of the chrysalis opens and is born again as a fully formed butterfly. This is the most cosmopolitan of all butterflies, the painted lady. Equipped with keen butterfly senses, it's through her new extended legs that she can taste the leaf she stands on. Her head now has large, complex eyes with more than 30,000 lenses. Instead of a nose, she has antennae that can catch the faintest scent. Her jaws have been replaced with what we think of as a tongue, a long proboscis. It's made of two long strands that zip together to form a tube. She usually carries it coiled, just below her head. And now she has the ultimate in new parts: wings. Slowly they unfurl. Incredibly, it's membranes in her wings that help her hear. So a butterfly isn't just resting when its wings are folded, it's listening for danger. Butterflies are one of the most delicate great survivors of the natural world. For this painted lady, it's time to take to the air. Elsewhere in Kielder Forest, other transformations are almost complete. At the shallow pond, what were once small tadpoles are now emerging out of the water as juvenile frogs, or froglets. Some remain under the surface with long tails still waiting to be absorbed into their bodies. But for the quick developers, this is an important milestone. They still have a lot of growing to do, but hopefully in 2 years they'll be sexually mature and can return to these waters to have young of their own. For other offspring, it's also almost time to leave their parents. In a part of the forest where trees have been felled, it might look desolate, but a swallow fledgling sits on a perch, waiting. It might have left the nest and be able to fly, but it's still being fed by its parents. Their stunningly fast maneuvers catch insects for the young. Although this youngster might not get it all its own way, now a sibling has joined. Even if this time it's won. It's this sibling rivalry that leads to the classic begging behavior of a young bird. The wide-open gape revealing the brightly colored mouth lining, designed to be an easy target, combined with waving of the wings and begging calls. Swallow parents in particular have been found to respond to the loudest begging. Once in front of their young, it's some skill to hover in the air and stuff the food deep down the gullet of their offspring. These are the last few meals from their parents before they head off on their own. As May turns to June, the sound of summer hums in the air. Our ospreys continue the long wait for their chicks. But for first-time breeders, there's always a chance they won't be successful. Next time, the forest has some new arrivals, but it's a battle to survive. There are some surprising moves from one of the forest's smaller creatures, and Britain's fastest declining mammal is reintroduced to Kielder.